Hello everyone. Most life decisions are centered around money. Most of us, immigrants and migrants, decide to migrate to Western countries or go abroad in search of better economic opportunities, which translates to better lifestyle, more money in the bank, and more savings. And not surprisingly, a return to India decision is also generally centered around money. How much money do I save before I decide to return back to India? And we looked at an example a couple of weeks back when I talked about a friend of mine who saved up a lakh dollars, that's $100,000, before he decided to call it quits and return back to India. And he successfully did that. He's pretty happy. Likewise, one of the questions that came up recently in an online forum, a person asked me is it enough if I save $1 million? Can I comfortably come back and settle back in India? Now, $1 million by any standards, by global standards, is a huge sum of money. And by Indian standards, it is about 8 crores or a little more than 8 crores based on the currency exchange and how much you are able to repatriate. More than 8 crore rupees. And for this conversation, let me just center ourselves on crores and lakhs, right? A crore is about 10 million rupees, and a lakh is about 100,000 rupees. So that's the term that we in India use in monetary units. So 8 crore rupees, is it enough to comfortably settle for the rest of your life and retire? By some measures, you would say yes, but I would put a big caveat. And let me explain my thinking. 8 crore rupees, let's assume you're very conservative and you decide to invest that money in mutual funds or fixed deposits in India. Banks currently are giving about 7.5% on long-term fixed deposits, right? 7.5%. So if you take that as your benchmark, 7.5% or anything about 7% on 8 crore rupees is about 56 lakh rupees a year. By Indian standards, it's a large sum of money. And that 56 lakhs, since it's going to be your income, you're going to be taxed at that highest rate of taxation, which is about 30%. So knock off a percent, 30% from that. So you're left with about 39 lakhs per annum. Now that 39 lakhs on a monthly basis, if you decide, it comes to about 3.8, let's say close to about 4 lakh rupees per month. Is it sufficient to lead a decent life in India? Absolutely. But let me start with a few caveats. A few big buckets of expenses that you, as a returning NRI, are going to have. One is housing. If you do not have your own house, if you haven't invested in a house yet, you either need to buy one or let's assume you start renting a house. If you need to rent a house in a decent gated community, it could run in a big city, could run anywhere from 1 to 1.5 to 2 lakhs per month. Let's say you're very conservative for a small family of 4 people. You want a 2 or 3 year bedroom house in that gated community spending 1 lakh. So 1 lakh is the straight outflow. And then comes your car EMI. You buy a car, you have a driver, and you have basic transportation needs. Running, it could run from anywhere from 30 to 50 to 70,000 per month. So now you're close to about 2 lakh rupees in outflow. And then comes your basic kharcha pani, your basic food, groceries, and other needs like, say, utilities, internet, phone, all the other bills. Let's assume it's another 1 lakh. Now, you're left with about 1 lakh rupees per month as a contingency for, say, travel or other contingencies or incidental expenses. Now, what we did not talk about is healthcare. Depending on your personal circumstances, you could have specific healthcare needs. Healthcare in India is not as expensive as, say, out of pocket expense in the US or in Western countries, but the costs can add up. So, when it comes to, say, taking a decision like this, saying you're going to invest that money and live off it for the rest of your life, you need to consider your age, your life expectancy, and the corpus that you're going to be drawing from month after month, year after year. On the other hand, there are other different techniques that you can use. You can invest part of it in property or a house and then draw from that corpus as needed. Or, like me, you could also come back, return back, and decide to launch a second career, either a business, your own venture, or work in the corporate sector. So, back to the question, is $1 million enough to retire comfortably in India? I would say yes, with these caveats. You can lead a pretty modest or a middle class life in India with basic creature comforts. But the moment you want or your needs start increasing, or you have other needs like travel abroad every year so often, travel back to the US or to UK or other parts of the world, go see the world, or send your kids to the top universities, that's going to stretch your budget. At that point, $1 million is not just that corpus that you have, because you're going to be drawing from it for your life expenses. So calculate accordingly, chalk it out. So I would say $1 million is still a sizable amount, but given your lifestyle, given what you're going to be used to or what you're going to be expecting, be conservative, be cautious, and